10.5 map examples. I've started off just kind of getting some stuff ready. I don't think I'm going to do all these, but these are the problems. You will see 7 of the 21 questions, and I've just grabbed screenshots from the 3 assignments. So a couple things to note here. On all of my answers, you know, this guy here would end up being 75. You know, it is important for us to pick out and start understanding that there's always a 0.0 here at the end. So I will erase those as I use them or need to, but just understanding that, you know, any number that you look at, 6, 12, 19, any whole number that you look at, 6, 12, 204, 16,879, these all have on them in existence a 0.0 at the end. And if you don't believe me, what you can do is you can look at a calculator, you can turn it on, and every single one of those calculators will have will have a decimal at the end of it. Right? So your calculator, if you type in 6, it will have a 6 point. Right? And it doesn't put the 0.0, but you guys all know that that's there. So that being said, we can get started. Multiplied throughout here, notice that I always put the top number on top of the bottom number, and that's just how multiplication is going to go. Also note that the decimal points don't have to be lined up. So when we add and subtract, we have to line them up, but when we multiply them, we can just kind of take the decimals out and put them back in when we're done. So let's get started. This one is the one in red. I need to first figure out how many, and I'm going to call them significant digits. So these significant digits are the digits after a decimal place for both numbers, right? Or all of the numbers. There can be 2, there can be 3, there can be 4. But you see here I have 2 numbers that come after this decimal place, right? I have 2 numbers. Here I have 1. Here I have 1, 2, and then here I have to start looking at both numbers. So 1, 2, and then down here I have 3. So all of these numbers that come after my decimal place. All right, there's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a lot on that one. Here, yes, it's a 0, but it still is going to count. Now, if we were to take these 2 numbers and we were to put that there and this here, 1.60, we would have to not count because that's the same thing as 1.6. So then we would have, well, if we had 1.60, we would have set the problem up. We would have had to put all this down. We had to put this up here and gone from there, right? 2.29 times 1.6. But since it is a 0 preceding the last digit, we have to include it. So I mean, I know we're carrying numbers and we don't want a bunch of little numbers, but here, that 2 is important. Okay, I don't think you really need to write it there. But 1 times 5, 5, 1 times 7, 7, 1 times 0, we don't really need, right? So then what that number 2 tells us, the amount of significant digits, is how far this decimal place needs to get drug over. 1, 2. All right, so now we have 0.75. We can erase this, we can erase all this, and that's our answer, 0.75. 2 times 2, 4. Right, but here we have that 1 significant digit, so we have to shoot. And then now rather than 4, we have it as 0.4. Okay, so here, 4 times 3, 12. But we have 1 digit, right? So we shoot 1.2, 25 to 12. So 125.0. Now we have to grab this, and we're going 2 spots. Right, 1, 2. So 1, 2. There we've got 1.250. Don't need that anymore. And you want to know what's kind of cool? Look at that. 25 cents, okay? You got 25 cents, which is a quarter, and you have 5 quarters, you have $1.25. And I mean, that's just science. You can't argue with that. So, here you go. Uh-oh. So now we've got 2 digits, right? So this 0.0, we might actually have to start it down here, but that's okay. So 6 times 7, 42, 2, 4, 6 times 4, 24, 28, 12, 14, and 0, 7, 4, 2. Oh, you know what? I forgot. We even need to go one more. Pew! Okay, and then 2, 15, 9, and 3. Now, how far do we move it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3.952. Don't need the 0 anymore. Don't need this. Don't need that. 3.952. Okay, so I'll tell you what. It's not any harder than 247 times 16. Decimal places don't have to be lined up, right? They're not lined up. The only thing you need to make sure that you've correctly done is figured out 1 to how many significant digits, and then at the end, correctly account for that. 3.952. So here, let's see if I can do this right. We'll have to move it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yikes. And then all of this. Nope. All of this. Boom. We'll have to go. Let's go like about there. Okay, so a lot of multiplication. I'm going to try to hold my breath and get it all done. Okay. Holy cow. Counts. So there are some things to talk about. I was holding my breath. I did it. Their decimal point ends up right in the front. So I'm a big fan of when that happens, of you guys not writing that as 0.30228, but as 0 point, because that 0 there, that does actually hold value. That holds the value of saying that this number is less than 0. So I'd be a big fan of seeing something that looks like that. Kind of cool. Then one more here, finish it up. Hopefully you're sitting out there thinking to yourself, well, out of the 21 questions, I got a bunch of them answered. And you might be real unlucky and not have any of them answered. Who knows? 4, 5, 5, 9, 0, 12, 13, 1, 2, 4, 7, 3, beep. 0, 0, and then we need to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look, happened again. Happened again. Pew. That's the prettiest looking 3 I've ever drawn in my life. So that's multiplying decimals. It's not any different than multiplying normal numbers, actually. Kind of cool.